Okay, the ask was clear to have a cohort analysis of tier one merchants, Q1 versus Q4 GMV, and revenue comparison. In this case, what we have a challenge in terms of the data. So this is where we've had a pretty long discussion here with everybody. We are not able to have linked data. There's a missing connector there. In the meantime, what we're working on is on a manual download, as you can see here, basically looking at the names, trying to find the names and the data from here for both Thailand and Malaysia. The key thing here, what we will have to do is a mix of actual data from one source to another and kind of do some projections here. In terms of acquired merchants, this is a fact. We have this number of acquired merchants. Then in terms of average GMV, we're taking the financial services average GMV that we have per every month. That is probably overloading what Q4 GMV was, because we're just taking an aggregate of everyone, while new merchants will have probably a lower one. In any case, we're looking at the data. Then with the data we see that Malaysia merchants have an average of 5,680 out of the new merchants we're talking about in Q1. And so what we see is a little bit of an increase, and we see an increase in terms of acquired merchants. We see a little bit of a decrease in average GMV. We believe that this is actually not accurate. It's probably higher. But anyways, is the data we have as a reference, and we see an increase in projection and in terms of GMV. At the same time, we're using for revenue, we have to use an average also, which is MDR. MDR has increased partially. And there could be a factor there of having a mix of merchants, but generally what we think it will be quite balanced. And then you have an overall increase of 46%, 146 versus previous quarter. This is an estimation. This could be some variations, but it gives us this. And this comes from Salesforce, and this comes from every source that the P&L for financial services. In the case of Thailand, you have acquired merchants, and that the base is small, so the increase is large. Here, what we have is the historical average that we showed here of $9,000 for Q4, and what we see is in the Thai data, what we see is the average is quite high, and then it's actually even we had to filter some big points of data just because we wanted to avoid having an incredibly high number, just because it could deviate the estimation. And what we see here is that obviously two increases deliver increased in GMV. And at the same time, we do know that the average MDR has been increasing aggressively in Malaysia, in Thailand, apologies, due to new policies. And on aggregate, we have a pretty big increase. Obviously, small base, big increase in numbers, and average GMV seems to be pretty high. But it does give us an indication that we're going into that trajectory. This is what we'll have for now until potentially end of the quarter, while the team work and focus on other projects that have bigger short-term impact, and we're before in the bandwidth that the data and the Salesforce team had, and we will hopefully close this in an automated way from end of quarter on. Thank you.